I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, this all God, this ain't no luck. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Whoa. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up, 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 up. I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, this all God, this ain't no luck. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up, 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 up. I was down, but now I'm up like my name Lazarus. No Satan gon' be mad at this. I had to ask my dad if it's okay to swing my bat at this. He said, boy, if I picture this out of the park, moving so quick it's like they stuck in park. They see the numbers, but I see the heart. 10,000 hours you spent in the dark, putting in good work, even though you didn't even know that it would work. Talking about a man who grew up in woodwork, do it for the love of it, that's the way it should work. Yeah, yeah. I know some people gon' look at me crazy and I'm like, for what? Man, I was stuck, I was down, but now I'm
I am Nicole Smith, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. Okay, so I am a South Florida native. I feel like you don't find many South Florida natives, like born and raised. So I'm 33 years old, born and raised in South Florida. I work as a dance teacher and choreographer here in the South Florida community. And I'm married. My husband's name is Kyle. He is pursuing a career as a firefighter right now. We have 2 dogs, 2 rescues. And yeah, and my hobby is I like to go to the beach, I like to read, I like to spend time outside, I like home renovation, like to garden, tend to plants. I kill a lot of plants, but I still like to do that. So yeah, and then, obviously I like to dance. Clearly I'm a dance teacher. My favorite style to teach and also to do is tap dancing. Okay. So right after I graduated college, I went to the University of Central Florida. Go Knights. I became very active within the theme park performing community in Orlando. So I worked at SeaWorld. I would do like various gigs and kind of got into the character performance work. So after I graduated college, I went on to work with Sesame Street Live. So I toured with Sesame Street Live. I toured as LL in the production Elle Makes Music. Yep. So I ended up finishing my tour and ended up moving back here to South Florida. A full-time job opportunity opened up at That's Dancing, which is actually the home studio that I grew up dancing at. So it was almost like coming home. I have younger siblings. So at the time, my sister was a senior in high school. So it was almost like the perfect transition to come home and like be here for her senior year, and my brother was in middle school, I think. So moved back. My husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, moved back. We moved in together and ended up getting engaged, and I was looking to get in shape for my wedding and also try out some like different fitness ventures. And everyone always said when we were touring with Sesame Street Live was that, oh, this is like doing CrossFit. Like people would watch the show and they would be like, oh, it's like that has to feel what CrossFit feels like. I had never done CrossFit before. All I knew is that I was on a stage, running around, jumping on boxes, jumping off of boxes, doing this high energy, performance while wearing, a 35-pound carpet, essentially. So you're hot, you're sweaty, you're moving a lot, and like the choreography wasn't easy. And then you're also like moving props and things and moving around. So when it came to getting engaged and trying to get in shape for the wedding, my sister and I were like, well, let's go to Groupon. So we find a Groupon for boot camp. At the time, it wasn't even like actual CrossFit. So we came to boot camp it was then CrossFit Boynton Beach. So we came to boot camp. And I bought like the month Groupon. I did it for a month with my sister. And then one of the coaches who was working here invited me to come and do a Saturday CrossFit class to see if I liked it. And I loved it. When I was in college, my husband was a collegiate athlete. So I would always train with him. So I got into like weightlifting. So I knew how to deadlift. I knew how to power clean. I knew how to back squat, front squat. So I liked weightlifting. I just didn't know how to incorporate it into the type of fitness and the type of lifestyle that I wanted. And then I tried CrossFit and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I was looking for. And I mean, I was 23 years old, just got off of an international tour with Sesame Street Live. I was in the best shape of my life. So making that transition was so easy. So I started doing CrossFit. We, got married, and I just, kept coming back. Like, I was like gonna do it just for the wedding, and then, I'll do it until I get married, and then maybe I'll try something new. And then, every time I would try something new or try something else, I just didn't like it as much and always came back to CrossFit. I love it because every time you come in here, it's going to be something different, something new. In the job that I'm in, I tell young people and even adults, when I'm teaching adults, what to do every day. My job is to come up with a lesson plan, come in, motivate people, make sure that, they're executing it to the best of their ability, cheerlead for them, coach them essentially and mentor them. So when I come into a fitness setting, I don't want to have to plan what I'm going to do because I already do that in my job. Like, I want to come in, have something there, have a coach that's going to do the same, pour into me the same way I pour into others. That fills my cup and allows me to do the best and be the best that I can be in my line of work and what I have to do. So I really liked that part of it. And it's also not the same thing twice, but the lifts are the same. So you are getting better, but they're being presented differently. You're not coming in every Monday and you're doing the same workout every Monday. There's not monotony, but at the same time, you are tracking what you're doing and getting better. So I think it is similar to like dance. Like, we're going to do the same steps, but we're going to do them in a different order or present them in a new way, or we're going to vary them slightly so then they become more challenging. But you're able to track your progress that way. So for me, I kind of liked that. I also like how it's this team-oriented atmosphere, but at the same time, everyone is working at their own individual pace. So, you're coming in and you don't feel like you have to, be the best top elite athlete in that class or, in the room or at the gym. You can work at your own pace and still feel like you're doing a great job while, everyone else is working at their own pace and being like the best they could be, but you don't feel like less than because you're working at your ability. And then it sounds really trivial, but I really love the amount of natural light in the gym. I work inside, at a dance studio, so I'm in a studio, spend a lot of time in a studio. There's not an option for us to, open up a garage door and move the kids outside to be able to, conduct class. So when it's a beautiful day, I'm coming here, I'm able to move my workout outside if I want to, or, if there's an outdoor section of the workout, we are, outside. And then also we, the whole entire front of the gym is windows and there's no mirrors. So, again, I'm in a studio. So I'm not only am I under fluorescent light, but I'm also staring at myself in a mirror for, hours a day. So being at a conventional gym just wasn't for me because there's no natural light. I'm not able to be outside. So that automatically just elevates my mood. I mean, that was the same thing when my husband and I were buying a house. It was how much natural light do we have? Do I have to turn the lights on during the day or can we just have windows? So that's very important to me. And I've tried, I do drive pretty far to come to the gym. It's, 25, 30-minute drive, which is why I'm late all the time. But I feel like I've tried gyms closer to my house and, they always follow up. They try to get you to join, and these are CrossFit gyms. Are you going to be, we can offer you this if you do a membership today. I'm I can't do a membership today. And I can't commit. Well, why can't you commit? Well, you just don't have enough natural light. There's no option for that. So for me, it sounds trivial and silly, but that's very important. So it's kind of why I love coming, the natural light, the atmosphere, the people, the coaches that just pour into you. It fills me up so that I can go into my day and go back to my students and share with them that same energy and those lessons and those values that I get from being a part of this community. Cut to, I would say, just after after the pandemic, after COVID. So, COVID happens. I think Alex did a fantastic job of keeping the gym up and running and keeping that community and that feeling alive and keeping everyone connected. So I feel I come back after, when the gym opens up and everything's good, I feel I come back after COVID and I'm oh my gosh, so excited. 2021, I just turned 30. My husband and I both turned 30 and we're okay, we're both entering our 30s where we don't have children. We're, what do they call that? Dinks. Yep. Double income, no kids. Dual income, no kids. So that's us. And we were like ready to enter like our travel era, like finish renovating our house, like start to like just get into it, like made it through the pandemic, like we were feeling good. So 2021, August 2021, I end up getting diagnosed with breast cancer. And I remember coming into the gym, I feel like the week that I found out. I remember coming into the gym. I brought my friend with me. My friend was in town, so we came in, we worked out together. And then I remember like coming into the office and like just basically telling Alex, like, I need to like pause my membership because I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was an oh shit moment. I feel like anytime I told anyone that, it was an oh shit moment. I mean, when I found out, it was an oh shit moment. I was young, I was healthy, I worked out. Like I did all the things and I checked all the boxes to make sure that like that wasn't going to happen to me.
Not good.
But life happens and you can't control what happens to you sometimes. So I remember having to pause my membership, and that was like a big decision that I, talked about with like my medical team. I couldn't do it. Like I was getting ready to go in to have surgery. When I was diagnosed, based on my prognosis, I was just supposed to have a bilateral mastectomy and be done. So I remember when I paused my membership, I was like, oh, like 2 months. Like I'll be back in like 2 months. I'll have my surgery. I'll be able to ease back into it. But like I'm going to do surgery and I'll be good to go. And then they ended up doing my surgery and they did the pathology, and the pathology had come back that my cancer had progressed more than what they had thought. So right after finishing my surgery, I ended up having to do a fast track round of fertility preservation, which is IVF, because my husband and I hadn't had kids. So I was looking at fertility preservation to prepare for chemo. So I had another surgery to do a round of IVF and then do an egg retrieval. I had my port placed. I remember having my port placed and having my egg retrieval in the same week, which is crazy. It was like wild. It was like I had my port placed on like Monday and then like my egg retrieval on Thursday, and then the following week started chemo. It was insane. I feel like I don't have that good of a memory anymore because of chemo, but I feel like I also like blacked out because it was just like such a whirlwind. So I did that and then did my 4 rounds of chemo, and then just kept having to like push my membership at like, freezing it for longer and longer and longer, pausing it. Because at the time, right around the time that I started chemo, there was a spike in COVID, so I couldn't come back to the gym, which sucked. Like, but thankfully, I was working, so I was being active, and I was trying to like do my best to like go on walks and like get outside and everything like that. I will say though that because I was as fit as I was at the time of diagnosis, I had no trouble healing. I had no complications healing during surgery. I remember people were telling me like, oh, like somebody was like, you're going to need a shower chair to like take a shower. You're not even going to be able to stand up after you have your first surgery. Like it's going to take you out. And I remember like my husband preparing all this stuff. He was like, I'm going to get you a bell so you can like ring the bell since you're not going to be able to like walk around. And I remember like waking up during surgery, like, after my one night in the hospital and like feeling good, being able to walk down the hallway. Like, they were trying to keep me. I remember my blood pressure runs slightly lower, which I would anticipate is because I'm so active. But they were trying to keep me for a second night in the hospital because my blood pressure was so low. And they were like, unless you can walk up and down the hallway a couple times without getting fatigued or feeling lightheaded, you'll be able to sign yourself out. So I was like, all right, let's go. So, put my little slipper socks on and walked up and down the hallway a couple times and signed myself out because I was like, first off, I had a doctor's appointment I had to get to. And then second off, I was like, I can't stay here another night. So I feel like being in the position I was in and being as active as I was and having had done CrossFit for so long, I was able to recover from all of these things a lot quicker. Like, I wasn't at home taking painkillers and not, and being down and out. Like I was up, I was going on walks, I was doing things. I would get tired a lot easier because I had just gone through a lot. But for the most part, my recovery time was, I didn't have much downtime. And that was for all of my surgeries.
Right.
which was insane. But yeah, so did all that, then ended up finally getting back into CrossFit. So I get cleared. I worked with a physical therapist because I was like, okay, I'm going to be going back into doing like push-ups, a lot of overhead work. I was really concerned about my, chest. So I came back September 2022. So almost a full year since I was diagnosed and had my very first surgery. Still staying active, trying to like get into like little things running, but things that like weren't weight training. That was just, purely based on the fact that I had my final surgery July 2022. So I had to like wait to heal from all of that stuff because everything was my chest. So there was that. But like I said, I feel like coming back, that transition was a lot easier than somebody that probably wasn't as active or didn't do what I had done, just because of the background I had in CrossFit and the amount of years I had trained with all of that. So I came back to CrossFit, and before, I feel like my boundaries before were very much so like, I was like, oh, I'm not that strong, I'm not going to do that weight, oh, I'm not going to push myself in that. Like, I remember before I would never snatch or really do anything overhead. I injured my shoulder dancing professionally. It was just something that I was like, I don't need to do that. So I don't really want to do that. I don't like to do that. I'm not as strong. So I would like hinder myself in that way. And then cut to me coming back after diagnosis and treatment and surgeries. I was literally like, I've already done such hard shit. Like, this is nothing. So I feel like as an athlete, my mindset shifted in like a wholly different perspective that I didn't realize until I was like back in the gym doing it. And I remember I just like came in one day, the workout was like snatches. Of course I was using, a baby barbell, way less weight, trying to like ease back into it. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it because I've already done hard shit. Like, why am I like creating boundaries for myself in that way? Now my boundary is, I try not to, I'm a little bit more hesitant when it comes to lifting heavier weight overhead just because of my chest and everything. But other than that, like, I'm not hindering myself. I'm not going for things. Like, I remember I wouldn't do like pull-ups. I'd always do radios because hanging from the bar, I don't know, maybe it, like, intimidated me and I didn't realize. And then coming back and being like, well, I've already done all that. Like, I'm just going to, like, who cares? I'm just going to go for it. So I feel like going through treatment and, being diagnosed and coming out on the other side has almost shifted my mindset into like, I've already done all that hard shit. I can basically do anything. So right now I am considered NED, which is no evidence of disease. And I am still in maintenance treatment though. So my active treatment has ended, but I'm still in maintenance treatment. I go every month to get an injection. I take a pill every single day, so I am in a medically induced menopause, and I'll stay like that for 7 to 10 years. And that is because my breast cancer was hormone receptor positive, so having high hormones, estrogen and progesterone, that's what fed my cancer and caused it to be so aggressive and rapid growing. So in order to cut my chances of recurrence down, I have to be in a medically induced menopause, so I don't produce any of those hormones. So with that, being in a medically induced menopause, I run the risk of bone density loss, developing early onset osteoporosis and things like that. So thankfully, I have an incredible oncology team, and they work both on like, functional fitness and nutrition, but then also like they're not afraid to write you a prescription if you need it. So my oncologist and I sat down when I was like going to get back into working out and just kind of like looking long term. Different than most women that get diagnosed with breast cancer, I am considered an AYA, which is an adolescent young adult cancer survivor. So AYA is anyone that is between the ages of 18 and 39 years old. And we're just in our kind of own age bracket. So the average age for breast cancer is like women that are like 45 to 55. Typically those women are closer to reaching menopause. So by the time they finish treatment, oftentimes they just go right into menopause, whereas I by the time I'm done with my treatment will be like 36, 37. That's still a long way before I would enter menopause on my own. So, sat down with my team and kind of figured out like what can I do to kind of like put my body in the best situation possible for both, you know, where it's at and what I need, all that stuff. And one of the biggest things to combat bone density loss is weight training 3 to 4 times a week. And, you know, my oncologist was like, I could write you a prescription or you could weight train 3 to 4 times a week when I told him I do CrossFit. And he was like, excellent. And there's a lot of other benefits to doing CrossFit. One of the biggest things, biggest side effects of my medication is joint pain, and CrossFit helps with that. I feel like, you know, my knees are a lot more sore and sensitive than they were before. But I feel better at the end of the day and able to go in and do my job better after coming in and doing a workout here. But yeah, so weight training 3 to 4 times a week is one of the best ways to decrease bone density loss. I had a bone density scan right after I finished treatment. I haven't gone back for my second one, so I don't know if there's a difference, but he was basically like, that's the best thing you can do. And I think that's important to keep in mind because every woman is going to go into menopause in their life. Like, that's inevitable. So if we can just start implementing weight training, and it doesn't have to be at a, you know, the max weight. It could literally be 10-pound dumbbells, 15-pound dumbbells, just getting your body moving and building that. You know, that's going to help longevity-wise, and you're not going to experience all of these negative side effects or have to pump your body with medication to, like, combat that. And I think that's important and not something that many people realize, that, like, lifting weight is very important. Okay, so some of my goals right off the bat is to, like, show up on time. I'm working really hard. One day I'll get it. One day I'll kind of, like, get into a flow. I feel like part of that is because I used to be able to function on less sleep, and now just where my body is at, I need more sleep. And I haven't been able to, like, navigate getting a full 8 hours. And I'm not a morning person to begin with, to be able to, like, get moving. And then just sometimes stuff comes up during the day. So first and foremost, I want to show up on time, but we're working on that. Second, I would like to compete. I feel like that's a long-term goal. I'm 33 now, so I feel like by age 35, I would like to just compete one time in CrossFit. I'm also trying to, there is a half marathon and a marathon that runs, I can't remember the name of it, but it runs in Jacksonville. My friend just did it this year. It's in January, which is also my birthday month, so I would do that. But it's for, it's like a breast cancer fundraiser, I guess you could say, like kind of like Susan G. Komen. So it's to raise money for breast cancer research. And it's like you could do the half marathon or the full marathon. So I feel like those are like two things. Like I would like to do that just to kind of help. And then I would like to compete at CrossFit. And again, if there's any way that the CrossFit community could find a way to do a competition that could then raise money for breast cancer research or whatever the case may be, or even just breast cancer within the CrossFit community to like give those funds directly to someone that needs it, that would kind of like be more enticing. I try to like find things now, fundraisers and things that like we can contribute back to the community while also doing something that's like fun and fitness. So I feel like those are my 3 goals. Show up on time, maybe do a marathon, not a marathon, a half marathon, let's be real. Half marathon, and then compete CrossFit. And it doesn't have to be like the top level, just like get out there. I love the community. I love that every single time I come into the gym, late or on time, I feel welcomed. I feel like there are people here that I connect with, because CrossFit just isn't for the top tier athlete. CrossFit is for the breast cancer survivor. It's for the working mom. It's for the working dad. It's for the stay-at-home mom. It's for young professionals. It's for business people. It's for everybody. I feel like everyone is here to better themselves, and I feel better because I'm just surrounded by that type of energy. I also feel like the coaching staff, you know, like I said before, just pours good energy into you, so then like you can go out and pour that good energy into other people. It's a ripple effect.
So what's one thing that you would tell someone who's in your shoes right now? Let's say they're like nervous about joining CrossFit, or maybe they just got some sort of diagnosis, or they are trying to find a new fitness regimen after being sick. What is something that you would tell them right now?
I would say just start. That's the hardest part. It's just like And I feel like that's going to be the hardest part for a long time, because that's the hardest part for me, the hardest part is getting to the gym. The hardest part is prioritizing that, is like getting dressed, getting in my car, and getting to the gym. Once I'm here and I'm like I'm in it and I'm good. And I feel like that's the same for a lot of people, but nobody really talks about it. And it's not just the same for like people that do CrossFit. It's the same for anybody that like works out and wants to like have that as a part of their routine, a fitness routine. Just start. I was thinking this week and talking to a group of girlfriends, because, my husband is starting this journey as a firefighter and starting a new career. And we were talking, and it was just like one day or day one. So I feel like that's a really good perspective. Like, you can always say one day I'm going to do this, one day I'm going to do that. Or you could just do, well, this is day one. So I think just start, just do it. Like, like I said, that's with anything. And you don't have to be the best at it, but also find a place that like you enjoy going to and that you want to be a part of and that makes you feel good going there. If it's not a supportive environment, find a different environment. If you don't like the lighting and there's not enough windows, go to where there is good lighting and you have windows. Find a place that works for you and that makes you feel welcome and that makes you want to be there. And again, you don't have to be, I tell my kids, like, you don't have to be the best, you just have to be your best, whatever that is on whatever day of the week.